good? Will you do it, Rory, or do you want me to?
3, 2, 1, go.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Totowa Unified School District Board meeting on Wednesday, the 17th of May. There is no public, so we'll have no public comment on our closed session, and we'll adjourn to closed session. Good evening. Welcome to the Tower Truck Unified School District Board meeting of Wednesday, May 17th. The board did meet in closed session and has no reportable action. And at this point, we are not going to ask you to stand, Mike, but we are going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin. Okay, let's get that done. And at this point, thank you. Superintendent, oh wait, so now how this is going to work is Carmen is on, there she is. Moment of silence. Yeah.
Thank you, Trustee
Okay.
Driller.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Before we begin though, Carmen, I am going to ask that as the Tower Truck Unified School District, that we all as a team take a moment of silence for Amira Ludwig and her family, and we'll start in just a minute. So if we could all take a minute of silence. Thank you. At this point, Carmen, Superintendent Geisels is actually online here with us, and we will, do you want to do a tag team, or would you
Yeah.
like, okay.
What we're going to do is I'm online, and thank you, Trustee Driller. I am just recovering from a medical procedure that requires me to be at home right now. So Kirsten Kramer, our incoming superintendent, is going to be in person, and she and I are going to tag team tonight. So I wanted to let you know that. And I believe there's some agenda items that she would like to discuss with you before we get started.
Okay. So, moving on to, thank you. So we'll now move to 6.0, just the approval of the agenda.
And President Driller, we do have one change request. We'd like to move item 16.0 so that it happens before 13.0.
Okay.
And that's the only change for tonight.
Thank you. Would there any other board, any issues at all at this point? No. Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the revised agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the revised agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. And at this point, we have nothing for anyone. We have public comment, and we have 3 public comments that are here right now. So I will ask you to come to the dais, and you have 3 minutes to share with us what you would like to share with us. Peter Hansen, and then Mike Lanzarone.
Lanzarone, I'm his proxy too. I'm
Do.
doing me and then I'm doing him.
You have to do it backwards then.
Nope, now it's on. All right, so Peter Hansen, I'm a math teacher and formerly a coach. This is my 17th year here in TTUSD. And I wanted to raise a little awareness about some discrepancies around overage pay for the school district, specifically between North Tahoe High and Truckee High School. And also urge the board to direct the district negotiating team to work with the TTEA negotiating team to kind of fix the inequity, both retroactively, hopefully, and moving forward. So what's an overage? As far as high school is when the teacher is asked to teach an additional class in addition to, or like instead of taking their prep. So they teach the entire day, no prep at all. Wasn't sure if we needed to define that or not, but ultimately 7:30 a.m. is when North Iowa High starts, and 2:30 p.m. is when we stop. That's 7 hours. Truckee High School starts at 7:30 a.m., ends at 2:30. That's 7 hours. So each site, you work the full day, 7 hours, 7:30 to 2:30. And the way the compensation works is North Iowa High gets 20% above their base salary, and Truckee High School gets 33% above their base salary. So that's 13% difference, which is tens of thousands of dollars. It's not just $500. So it's a lot of money. And during negotiations this year, like the teachers that took on all of this at North Iowa High, which is ultimately because of teacher shortage and we couldn't hire people. So we were asked to, step up and take on an extra class. And we didn't find out until like the day before school started about the discrepancy, and not knowing like how many years that's been going on. I don't know the background of it at all, nor how it's figured out for middle school or elementary or anything like that. So we asked the negotiating team from TTAA to take it up with the district team, and they said yes, and so we all hoped like something would be done. And as they talked about it in negotiations, ultimately the district negotiating team just said, nope, we're not doing anything about it, like we're just leaving it as is. So ultimately, I would like the board to, just be aware of this and also direct the negotiating team to fix the problem. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson.
Now we're going to be Mr. Lansing.
Yeah. Now I'm Lanzarone. I've got a prepared statement from him. He couldn't make it because his wife is really sick. So.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All right, so this is for Mike Lanzarone. Good evening, members of the board and district superintendent. I'm here tonight to put a human face, Mike's face, and story on the district policy on compensating certificated staff for teaching one period overage at the high school level. I've been with the district 4 years working at North Iowa High School. 2 of these years I've accepted a one period overage. Between the cost of living and the increase in enrollment at our school's ability to hire and retain quality educators in order to meet the needs of our students has significantly declined. As a result, many of us have been asked to teach one period overage to meet the needs of our student body. I am and always have been a team player when it comes to my profession. I understand that the entire school suffers if people don't step up when asked. For the past 2 years, I've taught from 7:30 to 2:30, teaching 6 full classes. Since 5 classes comprise a a full-time job, I was compensated 20% of my salary for taking on the extra class and stepping up to fill the need of my school for our students. If I'd been working the same hours at Truckee High School, I would have received 33% extra pay, making a total of $26,712.52 more during the last 2 years. In fact, due to the total number of students I've served in 6 classes versus the number I've served in 4 classes at THS, it could be argued that I would have worked less outside the school day and yet would have been paid more. While that number would sting anyone, it's especially painful given the fact that my family has been unable to secure a house of our own in this out-of-control market. Obviously, I'm not saying that an extra $26,000 would have put us into our own house, but that money in a cutthroat housing market could have been enough to make a house affordable on 2 educators' salaries, even tipped to my family's situation to being able to afford a house just out of our budget. The same work at the same level should be compensated the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Todd Hennings.
All right, thank you, Board, for giving us this opportunity to speak. I'm going to speak on similar to what Peter was saying. I'm also a teacher. First of all, I'm Todd Hennings. I am teaching physics, Engineering 1, Engineering 2, and this year math. Someone told Joanna Mitchell I have a math credential, so I got wrangled into that one. She said you can do anything for a year, and absolutely, I think yeah, we can. It's been very demanding without having a break, prepping for 4 separate classes during the day. Peter alluded to, it's 7:30 to 2:30. For those of us with overages, it's not 7:30 to 2:30. I'm regularly there on Sundays preparing everything for the hands-on classes that we have. It's a lot. Not knowing a whole lot about overages before, I assumed it was standard. It was a 1.2 is what people were given. And to find out that at other sites that was substantially 13% more, was a hard pill to swallow, but I also chalked it up to head and do my due diligence. I wanted to add to the idea that I don't think we want this problem to go away. But with the teacher shortage, I think it's particularly with our schedule at our school and us wanting to add and support students with new courses and more relevant courses, that this is not a problem that's going to go away. To start our very successful sports medicine program, our past full-time math teacher is teaching now sports medicine, and then those math teachers got put towards math classes got put towards us, and it's ultimately why we have a math overage this year. What I'm saying is if we want to expend our curriculum at our school, add maybe a full-time computer coding course, it's unrealistic to think that we're going to pull in a teacher that's going to work here and live here for some fraction of an FTE. It's going to fall on teachers for the overages to do that. And it's something that I think, like Peter said, that we need to address as a district across sites to make sure that there is equity in that. I only have one last thing to add is this is certainly not only us. This was published in the San Jose Mercury News this on Sunday, and their response to these classes that can't be staffed is this new model a cottage industry has developed. Course Mojo is the big one right now, where they'll actually Zoom. Can you believe it, going back to that? Zoom in a teacher to teach these classes. And then, of course, we know what a disaster it was just to leave it at Zoom. So they also have a learning aid, or in some cases a teacher there in the classroom keeping kids on task. It doesn't sound like a very effective model to me, certainly a very stimulating model. And the ringer is, it's according to the data, it's twice as expensive as a regular teacher. So addressing this, I think, could be good for our students and good for our staff and cost effective as we want to improve and add new courses to help the students in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Todd. Is there any other public comment at this point? Seeing none, I will close public comment and start the drum roll for Truckee High School Showcase.
Where'd she go? Good evening, Board of Trustees. I am so excited to bring this amazing panel here to really celebrate and talk about our continued needs around college career readiness at Truckee High School. In front of you, you have our Truckee High vision that we wrote with Board of Trustee Pat Mooney as our WASC coordinator, and we revisit it almost at every staff collaboration, but also with our students to make sure, are we meeting this vision, are we not? With the goal that students will be thoughtful, resilient, productive, and contributing members of their community. And tonight we'll hear from them around their post-secondary pathway as they are all graduating seniors here tonight. Our school aim is to have 100% of our students graduate with whatever post-secondary plan and opportunities they want in front of them. So we'll talk a lot about that. They want to be excited about being in high school and then their plan afterwards, and really all-inclusive, not just for college goers, but we focus on that career readiness as well. One metric that the state does hold us to is A through G readiness. On the left, you'll see, and Scott Delgado will talk more about this, our poster that we introduced to our students this year and our families around what A through G readiness is. Essentially, it's the minimum requirements to be eligible for a senior to apply for a four-year university in California. So, we were awarded, TTUSD was awarded a grant for A through G Completion Improvement Grant. Truckee High chose to use that portion funded to us for a temporary college and career readiness school counselor for this school year, because 62% of our graduating class of 2022, actually that's 2021, but it was similar, 2022, were A through G completers. So we added, Scooch, Scott Delgado here as our A through G readiness counselor. You want to talk about this one?
Sure.
Great.
Now you have to scooch.
Scooch.
All right. So basically, the goal with Scott's work at Truckee High was to get more students A through G ready, to expand the knowledge of A through G amongst student body. And basically, Scott came up with a concept of an individualized learning plan for each student to meet with every student and to design that plan. And additionally, besides college readiness, is career opportunities. So exposing more students to more career opportunities. On the left-hand side of this slide, what you see is the 12th grade, and from the class of 2023, at the 54% of the students were A through G ready, and 46% are not. So that is our focus area. And just surveying students of their knowledge of A through G, we learned that from a survey that 59% of our students did not know what A through G meant. So that's a great baseline starting point. And so next, oh, go ahead.
So what did we do? A few years ago, I introduced the board there. A lot of data, you know, I like that. But this snapshot here are specifically our students A through G ready or not ready by grade level, color-coded with students' names and the areas in which they are green, ready, or red, not on track at the time. So this is updated after each term for the most accurate information and truly identifies which students Mr. Delgado and the rest of our team will target to ensure that they're meeting A through G readiness. So this is our growth from this year alone. Our class of 2023 started at 54% on track. At the end of term 3, we're at 74%. Already surpassing Mr. Delgado's goal of 70%. So as you can see, we've held this consistent in term 2 and term 3. I know, you could clap for him. It's great. By subject matter, what you will see is we were lowest in English for A through G readiness. That makes sense because you need 4 years of English and they're seniors. And then our second one is in math. You do need only 3 years to graduate with math. However, there are courses that are difficult for all of our students, and so that's somewhere we focus in on as well. However, we had growth in every area over the year. I bring this to your attention because it continues our work, right? If 74% of our class of 2023 is on track, you notice that we've had growth or keeping steady for our students with disabilities, our socioeconomic disadvantaged subgroup population. Our 5 EL students in the class of 2023 are still not A through G ready. What this does is give us drive and names and ways to focus in on what we can offer. Again, A through G is one metric, but we want to keep our focus on all of our students, and this helps us do this work. So Scott's going to talk a little bit about what methods he used this year to get that 20% increase.
Hello, I'm Mr. Delgado. So methods I used for this year to help improve the A through G completion of our students. Next slide, please. Oh, I have the clicker. Look at that. Put me in charge. Exposure to opportunities for our students. So the first thing, in the beginning of the year after conducting our beginning of the year baseline data, I also sent out a college and career interest survey to our students to understand what their interests are, what career paths they are interested in, and things like that. One of the things that we, as a team, started up again this year, post-pandemic, is a first in-person college fair. Roughly 25 representatives from 4 four-year colleges and two-year colleges, as well as 2 military branches were present during this college fair with a rough estimate of 140, I believe it was closer to 160 actually, students attending this college fair. One of the big things that our reps gave back feedback to us was that it was very engaging from our students. They were very eager to learn these new opportunities that the universities can offer our students and give them an opportunity to understand the programs that each university has to offer and the financial opportunities that they can eliminate that barrier for them to a higher education. Another thing we did was, since the 49% or 59% of our students was not aware of A through G, we're just giving them the awareness of what it is and how they can fulfill their opportunities to go to a four-year college right after high school because they know what the requirements are. Like Mrs. Maloney was saying, the A through G poster was developed to be present in all classes at Truckee High School to give them a visual of what classes they need. It's easy to read through, like 4 years in Area B for your English, 2 years in history, 1 year in social, 1 year in U.S. history, world history, and 1 year in U.S. history, things like that. And along with that, we as well presented A through G presentations to 9th and 10th grade students during SS to help them understand a little more in depth about what A through G is, as well as what courses validate those areas in A through G. Along with in-house opportunities for students, we also expanded to field trips. So you can see here that we have some of our students attending the University of Nevada, Reno's Nevada Bound last month, where students really got a big opportunity to go in depth into the programs that they're interested in, understanding the admissions process for UNR, an out-of-state school, even though it's so close to us. It is a great opportunity for our students. As well as our two-year college, Sierra College down in Rockland, where we had a large turnout of our students who are interested in the two-year transfer pathway, as well as the vocational education to further their education, certifications, and going into the trades. Along with these opportunities, we are bringing in representatives from universities to our campus virtually. COVID was a good that was a positive thing from COVID, was all the virtual things that we can do now. So we have universities lined up to present to our students from beginning or end of May to the end of June for our students to get an understanding of universities that are just out of reach to go in person to see, as well as understand what opportunities our students have outside of California, such as like Utah or Oregon, a lot of the WUI states for our students. We still do have some upcoming events. UTI, the Universal Technical Institute down in Sacramento for our vocational education, whereas mechanic, diesel mechanic, automotive, welding, and marine tech. These are great opportunities for our students. We're going to go down on May 25th, and we have roughly about 40 plus students interested in going to that one, as well as UC Davis tour coming up in May 30th, where we have roughly 30 plus students interested in attending that. So another thing that was kind of touched up on was the individual learning plan. This is a concept that's been around in Truckee, but trying to reach out to more of the students. A goal of mine would be to do this for every student so that everyone has an opportunity to know where they're at and what their opportunities are after high school, and setting up not only academic goals but social goals. We want to have our students a well-rounded education and pursuing that just outside of academics, as well as setting career interest and exploration. Students may change their career paths 5 different ways before they graduate high school. So being an opportunity for them to reintroduce those goals and refresh on those is a very good, helpful thing for our students, as well as talk about the graduation requirements, where they are standing for students. Sometimes they don't know where they're at, and don't know that they need their community service still, and it's coming around May, and kids still need community service. So getting those kinds of things for our students so that they know what they have for graduation, as well as what they want to explore post-secondary, if that's vocational or 4-year or 2-year, or going into the workforce, having a plan. So what's next? Luckily, my position is awarded next year. Thank you. I would recommend, please. So what's next? So as I kind of mentioned, I would like to branch out the ILP to all students, not only for 10th or 11th grade, but 9th grade, getting them introduced to what their 4-year plan is in Truckee High, as well as for our 12th graders to have a written down packet that they can say, okay, I'm going to be going here. Where are my contact informations, the resources I can use, so that they are on their best foot when they leave Truckee High for whatever their next chapter is in life. As well as we'll be using the indicators from the California, the CCI, California College Career Dashboard indicators. So we're going to be improving our A through G. Our goal is to improve A through G in our subgroups, to increase those in the socioeconomically disadvantaged, the students with disabilities, as well as we saw our English learners. So increasing our A through G completers on that as well, and improving in our AP courses for those subgroups as well, so that they have an opportunity to have those classes and not being a barrier to a good education post-secondary. And just to acknowledge our students' achievements. These are just a taste of the colleges our senior class is going to after they graduate. And these are a fraction of the colleges that they have been accepted to. 4 years, 2 years, they're public, private, in California, out of California. We have a couple students that are going out of the country for their education. It is just phenomenal that our students were able to attain their goals from the programs, as well as the support that not only Truckee High, but TTUSD as a whole has given these students through their education. So, and to that, we would like to introduce some of our students to talk about their post-secondary plans.
Good evening. My name is Gael Gutierrez, a graduating Truckee High School student of 2023. First and foremost, I would like to thank my parents, teachers, and mentors for supporting me throughout these past years and making such a valuable contribution to my life. At first, I was not able to decide what school I would be attending after high school. I wasn't sure what career suited me best, but soon after, I decided that I will be attending community college here in Truckee. This would be the best choice since it offers flexible scheduling, giving me the ability to attend college while working. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been in love with photography along with filmmaking, and it is something that has impacted my life in very positive ways. Having the opportunity to take Sarah College courses while being a junior in high school has taught me various skills along with helping me be prepared for any challenges that will be thrown at me. After community college, I plan on transferring to the University of Nevada, Reno for my remaining 3 years, where I will be majoring in videography. I knew choosing this school would be a great option since it is very close to home and offers a truly unique campus experience along with amazing videography courses. I am also hoping to pursue a career in climbing. Throughout my climbing journey, I have met many amazing people that have helped me get in touch with many athletes and other companies that have showed nothing but love and support, allowing me to perform at the next level, and I am super grateful for that. My ultimate goal is to graduate college and continue to follow what I love to do, have fun, and enjoy the journey. Looking back, this is the time that I realized that life is full of mysteries. You never know what may change or happen, but learn to understand that patience is key to success and only time will tell. To conclude, I would like to thank my football coach, Tom Moen, who supported me throughout my high school journey. He would always motivate me and push me to become a better person every single day. There are times when days are hard, but he reminds me that you have to experience a bad day to truly appreciate the good days and take life day by day and be grateful for the little things. He reminds me to come home and tell my parents I love them and to never take anything for granted. I look up to him because he shows me that there is always a way to make positive choices and do what is right, and that it's never too late to chase your dreams. That's it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Reagan McCormick, and I would like to start by saying thank you all for having me here. As someone who has lived in Truckee and attended school here my whole life, I've experienced nothing but supportive teachers and faculty who have always pushed me to do my best. After high school, I plan to attend Sierra College in Rockland, studying business, although that will probably change, and then transferring to California State University, Monterey Bay. Ever since I was old enough to be asked, "What are your plans after high school?" I've never had an answer. I've always been interested, and still am, in so many different areas, from theater to business, but through my time at Truckee High, I feel like I've been given the tools and knowledge of who I am and what I want to do to be able to actually answer that question. Also, I didn't include this here, but theater has been such a huge part of my life, and I don't know how I missed that, but even before high school, but especially in high school, the connections and people I've met through doing theater at Truckee High is just so incredible to look back upon, and I'm really grateful for that. This semester, I've been taking economics, and that has helped me in solidifying my decision to study business. And although it's a shorter class, there is a ton of information, and I found it to be an engaging course. In my freshman year of high school, I decided to take college career readiness with Mr. Rowe, which was intimidating since there were mostly upperclassmen taking that class, and I had no clue what to expect going into it. All I'd heard of that class from my older brother was that Mr. Rowe would blast rap music and was super chill. And he was 100% correct. I was greeted with the kindest, most supportive teacher I've had thus far, and of course, loud rap music at 7:30 in the morning. He always found a way to engage his students and make them feel as important as they are. As one of my first high school classes and experiences, I would look forward to showing up to his class every day, which was very special. Although I haven't had a class with him in a while, I appreciate him for always answering my questions and putting a smile on my face. And I just want to thank all these wonderful adults here, too, for being so supportive and helpful through finding myself. So, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Loki, and I'm a senior at Truckee High, but y'all already know that. I'd like to say thank you to the admin of my school for letting me speak here today, for inviting me to speak about my time at Truckee High. After school, I plan to go to the University of Colorado Boulder to study either English, psychology, or both of those things. I'm still ultimately undecided. And right when I came here during the height of COVID, in my sophomore year of high school, there were already so many opportunities that were helping me decide what it was I wanted to do. There were many AP, like one of my favorite examples is taking AP Lit with Mr. Mooney and a bunch of other AP classes and interesting courses like psychology and philosophy that helped me decide where I wanted to go with possibly the rest of my life. And I would like to thank Ms. Herrera for helping me figure out through her adulting class that life after high school isn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, and helping me decide where it was I wanted to go to college, and just in general easing my anxiety and teaching me a lot of important skills that I will continue to use after high school. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Emma Bragg. I'm a graduating senior this year. I am a very active leadership member at Truckee High School, including vice president of the senior class. I'm so thankful for that position. I'm also a very active member in our community. I'm a competitive dancer at Truckee Dance Factory, as well as a teacher for the little ones at Truckee Dance Factory, who I adore. Freshman year, I had no idea what I wanted to do after high school. I knew I'd be going to college, but I had no idea what I wanted to major in or what I wanted to be a career in at all. But through the years, the math and science department at Truckee High has guided me in incredible ways. I have found so much love for math and science and STEM in general. I've taken most of the math and science classes at Truckee High, including AP Biology, AP Chemistry, AP Calculus, and AP Statistics, and a few others, but I won't go into too much detail. I really want to thank all of my math and science teachers, Mr. Kuhn, Ms. Delgado, Miss Cramen, and Miss Cook. They have grown my love for the math and science and the STEM. I will be attending Cal Poly next year in San Luis Obispo, studying kinesiology, and I am so excited to join my sister who is also there. I also want to give a big thank you to Miss Maloney, Mr. Newberger, Mr. Delgado, Miss Jacobs, and Mr. Bennett. They have been nothing but supportive through my 4 years at Truckee High. They've taught me so much, and I can't wait to see where Cal Poly takes me next year.
Hi, first and foremost, I wanted to thank you all for having me here, and thank you for your time. My name is Piper Krill, and I am also a graduating senior at Truckee High. I am the president of Model UN, president of Teen Peace Project, which is a volunteering club through Sierra Community House, and an active member in many other clubs, as well as a dancer at Truckee High. This fall, I have applied to 14 schools and got into most of them. And I will be attending Gonzaga University in Spokane, Washington. Go Dogs. As of right now, I'm majoring in psychology and will be minoring in Spanish, and I plan to be taking a year abroad in Argentina. I became a student at Truckee High my sophomore year in 2019. Moving during COVID, don't recommend, and doing online school was a considerable struggle for me. However, through having great teachers and coming back in person, I rediscovered my love for learning and joined some of the hardest classes that Truckee High offers. These include, but are not limited to, AP Physics, AP Calc, AP Stats, and a few others. Both of those I took last year, along with other challenging classes, and I found myself being curious and pushing my limits of my knowledge. Taking these harder classes has not only taught me a lot of important material, but also time management and how to be a good student. The hardest class I've taken this far is AP Bio, which I am in right now. It is a year worth of college bio, and we have had to cram due to it being an AP class with a block schedule and also the snow days. But even with those considerations, I felt very prepared for the AP test, and I think I did okay. Overall, these classes have prepared me very well for college academics and life on my own. I've grown immensely in the past 2 years thanks to these classes and through the leadership positions in the clubs that I am in. Another huge support I have had has been Miss Chavez. Throughout the past 2 years, she has helped me with extra studying when needed and also just been there for any personal setbacks. I know I can always come to her for advice or a shoulder to cry on if I'm having a rough day. Having an adult on campus that I can connect with and who truly cares about me has helped me feel safe and comfortable at school. This is absolutely necessary for sustainable student achievement and good mental health. I am very appreciative of the help that all my teachers have given me, and I am very proud of the work that I have put in the past 4 years. Overall, the support of that Truckee High admin and teachers has gotten me to where I am today, and I am beyond grateful and excited for the next chapter in my life. Thank you for your time.
So, using these students as a metric, we are currently meeting our Truckee High vision. Thank you guys so much. Well done.
Sorry, does the board have any comments that they would like to, Pat?
The speeches you guys made were great. I just heard 5 commencement addresses, and I hope you guys make them at graduation. I know you can't all, but thank you very much for your presentations. I appreciate it.
I would just encourage you to keep your eyes open to the possibilities, because although you're on a path now, don't shy away from changing your mind if you feel like you've discovered something you didn't realize. I was a bio major, and through taking some side courses, I ended up being a city planner, which is not the same thing, but I still use the same background, and I went to Santa Barbara and Cal Poly, so I have a master's.
I feel like city planner and psych, I mean, that's, right? Especially the rate we're changing and growing. So first of all, congratulations Truckee High on Cinderella. It was amazing, amazing. You were fun to watch. What I love about you all getting invited to come and talk to us is, what I'm hearing is a result of a lot of work put in by adults who care about the level of education that we crank out. And a lot of it was based on student voice that we heard 3, 4, 5 years ago. And some of it was already in place, and just the level of how it's been offered, or the quality of people offering it to you and coming alongside of you. You know, maybe they were more focused than before because it was a thing that the district put forward, but definitely you should take credit for where you are in your growth and your future and your dedication. There's no doubt these adults are educated and committed to support you all and your peers, but definitely take pride in your work and your growth because you deserve it. Yeah, and I'm with Mr. Mooney, like, my gosh, your speeches or your presentation. I'm also happy to hear that, the words vocation, trade schools, because I respect the 4-year track and beyond. But, I'll never get tired of saying it. People will always need to flush a toilet, turn on a light, right? So build a house. So I'm very much on the track of let's balance it out and make things available, educate students on other options. There's absolutely nothing wrong with college, of course, but I just feel like as a district, I don't want to miss that boat. I just want to open it to vocation and trade schools as part of the conversation. And yeah, good work, Truckee High School. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, just piggybacking on what everybody else had to say today, it's just been an absolute pleasure to watch Truckee High grow up over the years, and it's just been, you're obviously all products of wherever you started in our district, whether it was pre-K, kindergarten, or you moved here from another community and relocated. I think we can all look back on our elementary and middle school educators as well, and they've fed you into Truckee High very well prepared. And it's incredible to get to witness before us the maturity you all demonstrate and your eloquence and articulation. I'm just really, really happy for all of you that you get to go on this journey as well prepared as you are. So congratulations, for sure. And then I also wanted to talk about the individual learning plans and that matrix that you presented. That's crazy, amazing, cool, because that's the kind of data we need to be able to find who's slipping through the cracks and why. And that's the part of the community that I oftentimes work with. And so I'm so glad to see that you're monitoring and that you're really not just accepting in a passive way who's going to be successful and who's not. Like, we need to, as a district, identify who needs a little help and who needs a hand to reach this next level that they want to. So thank you for developing that, and I can't wait to see how that progresses in the future. Great work.
I'm excited to shake your hand when you, do we get to shake hands at graduation or no? Do we? Yeah. Hopefully we'll be on there. We'll elbow bump. Thank you, all 5 of you, for coming and speaking. I know it's a lot in your day, but speaking to a public that people are watching, and you should look at it just to listen, but your speeches were wonderful. And as a Trustee Mooney did say, your ex-teacher or your past teacher, you spoke from the heart, but you also spoke really, really clearly and well, and that's something that to speak in public, because it's hard. So hats off to you on that, and thank you for coming, because we really, as Chris did mention, we really listen to what you guys want. Send it to your principal first, but we try to do, this is where we are. Yeah, don't give it to us, give it her. No. But part of it is listening to what you guys are and who we are. And I think that you're really lucky to be where we are. Snow days might have been a little bit of a challenge. But, I think that moving on and taking, as Danielle said too, this isn't, you don't have one straight path, but I think you've got a lot of support and you've got a lot of life jackets that you can put on. And you just have to figure out which one to buckle, which is kind of cool. So anyway, opportunities. You can also come back and work here in this area if you would like. But that's awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. back on so we can have her. I think we'll move to the superintendent report. So when we'll get Carmen back on, we can have Chief Learning Officer. Here she is.
Can you hear me? You guys went away for a second, so sorry about that. Thank you, Truckee High. That was amazing. And only bit of advice I would suggest to our students is the journey is the reward. It is just amazing to see you starting your journeys, and it's so exciting. Item 9.1 will be our update for our strategic plan, which I'm really excited that that's happening tonight. Also, we received survey results from our Snow Days Lesson Learned survey. We had over 600 responses. So very soon we will be posting the results of those surveys on our website. And I know Ms. Zapatini is meeting with the calendar committee this week, which is composed of our trustee, one trustee, our bargaining unit members, teachers, administrators, and parents. So we're really excited to be able to provide the board with a first draft on the June 7th meeting, just for info only, and then come back if any changes or any other developments come out of that first draft, with a final draft for 24-25 at the June 21st meeting. So those are the two things I'm really excited to be sharing with you. And that's all I have for tonight, and I hope to be in person at the June 7th meeting. So thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Chief Learning Officer Geisels. At this point, shall I switch over to, what is your title? It's Acting Assistant Superintendent coming in. Kirsten Kramer, here we go.
Okay. Well, and first, I just want to give a shout out to all the schools and departments that are also doing what Logan and I are doing tonight. We know that there's often sub shortages or people are out, and we really appreciate how the teams are working in the departments and at the school sites. And so tonight, I have this great opportunity to be in this chair while Carmen does important recovery, and then we've asked Logan to move into my spot. So Logan and I are wearing double hats tonight. So, but just shout out to the schools and teams, because I know you're doing this on a daily basis, so thank you for that. But for 9.2, on behalf of Carmen Geisel, Superintendent Chief Learning Officer, I'm very excited to share with you our strategic plan draft preview. In this presentation, I'm going to speak a little bit, and then online with us tonight, we have Lana and Gilbert from Living Strategies. So this has been a year-long process facilitated by Living Strategies by Lana and Gilbert, and it has been an amazing process. There has been so much community input through surveys and the task force. We had a 45-person team. They met virtually during snow days. Like, there was just a high-level commitment and lots of great ideas. And so what we are bringing to you tonight as a preview for our info and discussion is how all of this coalesced into 3 main areas. Look at the next. Next slide, please. So all of this thinking came together through the task force, through district leadership, school administrators, lots of ideas. And what we did is made an umbrella statement to try to capture the vision of this. And the statement is engage and empower students, educators, and staff to achieve their potential. And I just want to highlight each line, starting with the middle. You'll notice throughout the strategic plan framework that we call out students, which is the focus of our work, but staff and educators are present in there as well, because we're here because of the students, but we can't do it without our staff and our educators. So they're equally a part of this. Engage and empower are there to capture the spirit of us all working together. We want to include the voices of our students, educators, and staff, as you saw demonstrated by the Truckee High showcase, how important that is. And then achieve their potential. That's building on our Pathways 2020 strategic plan that retired. This is building on that. But this idea, and Trustee Hennessy just spoke about it, that there's multiple paths to take post-secondary. And we really want to have opportunities for our students to choose college career, trade school, workforce readiness, and we really want to offer multiple opportunities while they're here with us so that they're ready for all of those opportunities after high school. And then along with that, we want to encourage our staff and educators, engage and empower them to achieve their potential so that when they join our team, they're continuing to grow and develop and take the professional path that they are most interested in. So it's really about our students and also our educators and staff. And so through all of the thinking of the community and staff and the task force, we started out with 5 areas and it coalesced into these 3 areas of strategic focus. So academic achievement, this is what we're all about. Our purpose and our how will be found in this area. It's talking about who is doing the work, our staff and our educators, and what they need to do their best work. It's talking about the tools they need. A high-quality curriculum is part of academic achievement. And then it's also about enhancing and expanding the different programs that we have, the career technical education pathways, work-based learning, and so on. And then student support is recognizing that we need additional programs beyond academics to support our staff, educators, and our students. We want to make sure that everyone feels safe at our schools, both emotionally and psychologically and physically. And we want to make sure that the system is working together so that our students, our staff, and our educators thrive. So that's all about student support. And then community connections is acknowledging that this is the whole idea of taking a village. So we're not alone in this. We have an amazing, supportive community, our educational partners, and we want to continue to expand and grow those connections. But we also want to continue to grow and connect with all of our families. And we know that we have some families that aren't as engaged and maybe don't feel as comfortable participating. So this community connections is about how do we grow and break down barriers and make sure that everyone feels included. And then again, making sure that our staff, families, students, community members, everyone feels welcome in all our schools and all of our functions. So those are the big areas of focus in this framework. And Lana and Gilbert are going to kind of do a check-in and kind of walk you through where we've been, where we're at, and the next steps. So Lana and Gilbert. There we go. We can see you again.
Thank you. So what we were going to do is just give you a brief preview. And I think, do you want to still go ahead and since the slides are part of the packet, are those still in the room? Because I can speak to those or I can just speak without them, whatever's easier.
Can we get the slides back up?
Yep, there we go. Yep.
I thought, especially for any of your audience members who are online, the slides are what were attached to the board packet. And so in support of the incoming Superintendent Kramer and also the tremendous amount of work and leadership on this project that Superintendent Geisels helped to spearhead and shepherd throughout the year, we just wanted to remind everyone this is the journey that we've been on. And I want to say thanks to Superintendent Geisels. I think it was very wise. This has been going on for several months, but the part that has actually been community facing has really been during this academic year. And because there was still so much disruption from COVID last year, we started with working with the administration, the leadership team, and the trustees in the last academic year. And then this year has really been about collecting your community input. So we did everything from focus groups at the individual school sites to also Superintendent Geisels and all of your principals have now been to all of the school sites across all of the grades, except for, I believe, Superintendent Geisels, I believe there's still one more school to collect student data from, if we're not mistaken. Is there one more still to come? But otherwise, your students, your parents, and your teachers have all had a chance to give input into each of the priorities and the initiatives that Assistant Superintendent Kramer just walked you through. And that is what you see in the document that's before you tonight as a preview. We can go ahead and flip to the next slide. And the thing that we'll say also too, Assistant Superintendent Kramer mentioned that our task force has been hard at work. One of the things that we're attaching for board reference as well is that the task force that's been meeting all year produced a number of really important reports. And these reports are what generated the ideas that get rolled up into what is the single page that you're seeing this evening. My business partner Gilbert and I, we like to say it's a lot harder to write one page of documentation than it is to write 40. But I think that what we have really tried to do, and I want to say thank you to the cabinet and to the leadership team, we have really worked in what you're going to see tonight is the one-page framework to create a placeholder or a category or an umbrella concept that takes so many of the implementation ideas that are included in these research reports and included in ideas that we know that the cabinet is interested in bringing forward in implementation and opportunities that we've heard from your trustees as well. The reason why the framework in front of you is written at a fairly high level is it's meant to be not the end all, it's meant not to be the end of the strategic planning journey, but it's meant to provide a springboard or a platform. And especially as you look at the leadership changes that you'll have coming into next year, this document has really intentionally been written to give you as a governance team a big picture look, and then to enable this summer, under the leadership of your incoming superintendent and the new teams, the opportunity to come back to the board in the fall with a more detailed implementation plan. And if the board's interested in knowing kind of some of the things that they're already thinking about, you'll see that contained within these reports as ideas to consider. But we just want the board to understand that that next level of information would still be coming again later this fall with more specificity once the board is given direction on an overall strategy and a direction. We can flip to the next slide. And so this document, the one-page document, is what Assistant Superintendent Kramer just walked you through, both the high-level vision, the 3 goals sit at the top of this page, and then the more depth that she alluded to in her opening comments, you'll see as each of the 3 initiatives underneath the 3 goals. In addition, we have prepared a draft survey. We're very conscious that your community has a lot happening right now at this exciting time of year. And so our proposal is that when we first laid out the strategic planning process, the proposal was that we would have the opportunity for you as a governance team and for the leadership to collect community input at the beginning, middle, and end of the process. We're now at the end and prepared for Survey C. In collaboration with Superintendent Geisels and your incoming Superintendent Kramer, and out of respect for how much the community has going on right now, we're proposing still going ahead and having a Survey C in case there are any members of your community who might want to give comment on this prior to board action or discussion again at one of the June meetings. But we've made it a fairly simplified version of the survey. And what we've done, instead of repeating all of the items that you're seeing here inside the survey, our proposal is that the survey link exactly to these documents that are before you this evening so that any members of the public in your community can take a look at them, see them as they were presented for board discussion, and then be able to share some comments. And we can share that with the board prior to any discussion that you would have at your June meetings after this preview completes. So we can go ahead and flip to the next slide. And the last thing we want to share with you is that our intent, even though that what you're seeing here this evening is presented as a one-page framework with the high-level goals and the supporting initiatives, we're also anticipating and already in conversation with Superintendent Geisels and the incoming Superintendent Kramer that we believe there is a great opportunity here to work with your communications team and to create a document that really would fit with a lot of the branding and communications that your communication team puts out to your community, to help the community understand really what the plan is, how the goals are aligned, how this came about, and be able to illustrate that with photos, with images that would illustrate these different concepts. And that is something that we would like to propose be developed once the board does give direction on the actual content, that could be worked out over the next few months so that it could be released as people come back to school in the fall as a way to really not only perhaps now preview some of the strategy, but in the fall really help people to embrace it and pull it through and do it in a way that's really personalized to the district. And so that is one of our ideas for next steps. And I think if we go to the next slide, This was in your board packet. We did not think that we would go through this for you, but we just wanted it to be part of the public record. And for any board member who's interested in knowing kind of exactly where we've been on this journey and kind of what our next steps are, this just shows you that we are tracking and happy to respond to however the board would like to move forward in its consideration of the next draft. Any comments that you have this evening or feedback for either the superintendent or the incoming superintendent, we can support presenting a more refined draft with any edits to the board at one of your June meetings based on what works best for you and your agenda. So I think that we can go to the next slide. And I would just ask Superintendent Geisels or back to incoming Superintendent Kramer if you have any other comments, or we're happy to go in other detail, but I'll turn it back to you for comments.
No,
Go ahead, Kirsten, if you're going to say anything.
No, I was just going to ask you. Go ahead, Superintendent Geisels, please.
So I want to thank Lana and Gilbert for their hard work on this project. And let me just tell the board, which I've already said it before, the bulk of this work was done during our winter of 2023. We met virtually with our task force team, and thank you to every single member for their thoughts, their ideas, their suggestions, their pushback. We're really excited about where we've come and how far we've come, and we're really excited to be able to finish and provide a draft to the board next month at our June meeting. So I want to thank you both for all of the work, and our task force members, our students focus groups. We learned so much during this process and this journey. It was really probably one of the highlights of my year, snow and all.
Thank you. So at this time, if there's any questions or comments from the board to give us guidance of what to bring back to you in June.
Yeah, I just have a couple of questions, Lana and Gilbert, or maybe I'm not sure who can respond to this. And that is the one-page document that we received. There's 3 areas of strategic focus and goals, and if I understand correctly, that was reduced from originally 5. And I'm just wondering what the other 2 were that didn't make the cut.
Superintendent, well, I think it's less that it didn't make the cut and it got rolled up. And so I think that as we were continuing to move forward, everything was a constant summation, so that there wasn't really anything that ever sort of fell away to the cutting room floor per se, but instead got absorbed. And I can actually share the actual 2 things. The way that you can see where the other 5 areas of focus are, they're aligned with the task force team reports that are also included in the packet. And that's where you can see where we had spent most of the time is in those 5 team reports. So those team reports continued to come forward, and then they each just got supported into these 5 areas, into these 3 areas.
So that is safety and supports and outreach and engagement, and they got rolled into some of these.
Into student support and communications, for example. The one piece that is a little less obvious also was the transitions. There was a team, and in your reference documents that the board has this evening, you'll see there was a transitions, thinking about transitions as far as when students are moving from one school to another, when students are coming into the district, or when they're leaving the district. There are some really wonderful ideas in that report, and that team did some really fantastic work. That got rolled up into when you look at academic achievement, it's one of the actual initiatives now. So even though it's not sitting at the higher level, it's actually a subpoint on the initiatives.
Okay, thank you for that. And I appreciate that less is more. So and I agree. We were talking about how it must be impossible to put all this on one page, and we agree with that as well. Okay, thank you.
I didn't have any.
And I think all of the backup still sits in the team reports as part of your records, so you'll have everything for reference going forward.
I was going to say I didn't have any specific changes other than a few minor ones that I had already shared just for wording suggestions, like changing 3.3 to say expand community partnerships versus deepen, because I think we have a lot of community partnerships and it's important to recognize those. And just that slight tweak of that word will help kind of recognize that we're trying to reach new people. So whether we're talking about expanding, vocational opportunities and trades and things that go beyond some of the things that we understand now, I think that's just a simple tweak to that. But more so, I just want to recognize the work that happened between the change from the first version we were working off of versus this one, which it's not a lot of time difference between those, that we took the group that was working on this kind of took these concepts and expanded them quite a bit to be more comprehensive. And I think it's helpful for the community to look at it truly as this framework where we have a vision, it's very clear and succinct and easy to understand, and then you go into these focused goals, and then you have these actions for us to do, which is just very tangible and easy for people to look at, and especially because it's in a single page. So I think this gives Cabinet a good opportunity to take a next step if we kind of finish it out to create that roadmap of how we'll implement it. But I very much appreciate kind of how succinct it is and just approachable it is for the community.
Yeah, I would share that I went into this exercise very kind of nonchalant, like, okay, I'm the board representative to participate, and I understood the importance of the strategic plan. I didn't understand the depth and professionalism that I was going to be sitting with. I mean, our teachers are amazing, not just a wordsmith, but just the thought that went into our conversations, and I was just very humbled, and I'm very appreciative of having been able to participate. And you get to a point where you're like, yep, nothing else needs to be said. These people got it, I'm just a pretty face sitting at the table. But yeah, it was awe-inspiring, and I'm super excited about it. And there are, one of the things I do want to point out is just to remind our team and both our CLOs that under student support, there was a need to add the word staff in there, whether it was in the bullet points or somewhere in there, that it's not just supporting the students, but supporting the staff. And for whatever reason, I went into the emotional support, because I know that we already focus on curriculum or academics or what have you, but I really felt like that's what I was hearing, so I just don't want that to get lost. But thank you, and thank you to everybody that participated.
Thanks, and I also, Chris, I want to say thanks for doing that, because again, we all sign up for these things and we're like, wow. But that was, it was great having you as our token representative. Thank you for doing that. And I do think that you guys alluded to it, fast turnaround, lots and lots of stuff went in. But I think that framework is what Danielle said, that it's where we're working. But I actually am so excited that we are able to get as much input from everybody that we did. And we were able to put it together concisely. But I really, I think that's one of our big goals, as a communication has been something that we're working on, and I think that we've done a great job in including. But this is a sort of a testament to, we did get a lot of people to put their words in. We listened, and I think we're able to now move into those directions. And I did too, Chris, say that was one of the things that was, when I spoke up, student support is huge, but staff is obviously right in there with it, so I appreciate that as well. So with no further comments at this point, is there any public comment on that information item? Seeing none, we will move on. So thank you. We'll move to the resolutions. Before I do that, I do want to just note that we did have oh wait, before we leave, my goodness, thank you. You guys, Lana, and for coming on and helping us. And then we will, we'll get more information from you as we move forward. But thank you for coming in.
Yes, we'll come back with the more refined draft. Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Gilbert, very much.
There's Gilbert. Thank you, Gilbert.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for that. That was awesome. Moving on to, before we move on to resolutions, so I do want to just, we did have a art change. And I missed it before, so there's a lot of new art that we get from
Truckee High School.
Truckee High School.
Yes.
Dude, that was great, so we had the whole picture. But yeah, thank you for that.
I took photos of last week's too, if you would like to look at them. I took them on my camera.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, it's awesome. Okay, so resolutions, I will move over to you, Kirsten, just to sort of set us off.
So the first resolution, 10.1, is about mental health awareness, and incoming Assistant Superintendent Melanie is going to talk about that for us.
Thank you. Good evening, Board of Trustees. Mental Health Awareness Month has been observed during the month of May in the United States since 1949, reaching millions of people in the United States through the media, local events, and screenings. Mental health challenges are one of the most common health conditions in California, affecting children of all ages and impacting both the person experiencing mental health challenges and those persons who care and love the person facing the challenge. 1 out of every 24 Californians with a serious mental illness have difficulty functioning in everyday life, and if left untreated, have life expectancies 25 years shorter than the general population. Recovery can and does happen, and all Californians should know that support and help is available regardless of any individual's situation. This May, Tahoe-Truckee Unified School District joins the rest of the country to raise awareness around mental health. Each year we fight stigma, provide support, educate the public, and advocate for policies that support people with mental illness and their families. Creating a school district community where everyone feels comfortable reaching out for the support they deserve is crucial to ending the stigma around mental health. It is staff's recommendation that the Board of Trustees adopt Resolution Number 24, 2022-2023 in support of Mental Health Awareness Month and encourage our schools and community stakeholders to recommit to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all TTUSD students. Thank you.
Thank you, Logan Melanie. I'm just going to call you by your name. Does the board have any questions or comments? None. Okay. Public comment. Oh, wait.
Just a quick comment.
Oh, good. Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, having been in the classroom for so many years here in this district, I've seen a real acceleration of attention to students' mental health and wellness, district-wide, but most especially at Truckee High, especially in the last 10 years or so. And it's all, it's all due to the efforts and I think the diligence of Principal, then still sometimes Principal Melanie, and Assistant Principal Newberger, as well as the counselors and the teachers there who are really making that happen. So that's a real, I don't want to say improvement, because I think we're always doing good work, but it's been a real acceleration in that area that I've seen, at least on that campus, but district-wide as well. I think we're moving in the right direction.
I will mimic or copy that too. It's been a big, if you were to look at other districts, and if you ask what they have for their schools, we have a lot more than other schools for sure. And I guess you guys will probably know just in the field, but I think we've done really well. So with that.
Well, actually, I just wanted to quickly also thank Kim Bradley for creating the initiative around wellness and applying for the initial grants with the Mental Health Services Act. I believe that was in 2010, something like that, which initially, funded sort of a smaller version of what we have now. And I think it's through her courage and due diligence that we are able to sort of hold up as, a flagship, in particular Truckee High School. But now we've got wellness centers all the way down, in the elementary schools, which is fantastic. And I think the counselors have really rallied around the idea of the whole person, the whole child, not just the academic learning version of the child, but the social emotional aspect of children's lives as well. So everybody deserves a big round of applause. This is very, very good work, and it's definitely put us at the forefront in the state of California.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, with that, would you like to, or would anyone like to make a motion to approve Resolution 24?
I would be thrilled to move to approve the resolution honoring Mental Health Awareness Month, May 2023.
Yeah, thank God. Would there be a second?
I'll second.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you for that. Incoming Superintendent, Chief Learning Officer Kramer, would you like to start us on 10.2?
Yes, I'm very excited about this resolution. We have our team here tonight, and Kat Solomon is going to come up, and we're going to present for our school lunch heroes. So I don't know if you want to approve first, and then we'll have everyone come on the other side and do the certificates.
Okay, so let's do the approving so they can come up and clam. We'll celebrate. Are there any questions on this School Lunch Hero Day from board? And any public comment? Okay, with that, would anyone like to make a motion for Resolution 25?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 25, 22, 23, School Lunch Hero Day.
And
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, thank you.
So we'd like to ask Cabinet and the board to please come forward for the presentation.
Thank you for having us this evening. We're really excited. I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Rivera.
Thank you. So first off, I just wanted to say that this resolution is for School Lunch Hero Day. We often don't celebrate this group of employees enough. They touch the lives of students on a daily basis. Excuse me. And it's not about just serving a meal. It's about contributing to their day in a very good way, positive way, and ensuring that they're ready to learn. So with that, another thing I wanted to mention is just the volume of work and the dedication that these employees do on a daily basis. We saw that during COVID, during the pandemic, when they were out on the front lines serving meals not only for students, but the community as a whole. Then returning to in-person instruction, and I'm sorry, I don't know why my voice is having some issues here, but essentially they came back to still having to serve meals for all of our students. And it's not just Lunch Hero, it's Breakfast Hero. And on top of that, now we have universal meals, so the volume has essentially almost doubled with the number of meals they serve, and their staffing has not. So they're very, very dedicated, and I appreciate each one of you, and I look forward to recognizing you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. We're going to get started. We'd like to bring up Miss Tinka Goddardam. She's our chef. She's our chef at Tahoe Lake Elementary. Thank you. Right. Next, we have Ana Rosa Chavez. Yay! She's our chef at Truckee Elementary School, which also provides meals for Sells Charter School and Sierra High School every day. Next, we have Miss Hortensia Paniagua. Hortensia is our chef at North Tahoe School and North Tahoe High School. Awesome.
Thank you.
We'll do a group picture too. Next, we have Miss Marisol Cardona, also a chef at North Tahoe School and High School. Next, we have Miss Florencia Borsini. She is also our chef at North Tahoe School and High School. North Tahoe has the great shirts with the logos. We're always jealous. Next, we have Miss Patricia Diaz Corneo. She's our chef at Alder Creek Middle School. Thank you. We have our Instagram page, and you can see their incredible work. If you go to TTUSD Food, every day, all of our chefs work incredibly hard to provide scratch-made meals, fresh salad bars, every single day for our students and sometimes our staff. Next, we have Adela Gonzalez Del Valle. She is our new administrative secretary. Although she's not new to TTUSD, so we're really fortunate we scooped her up. Thank you, Adela. And last but not least, we have Miss Isabel Barajas. She's our newest chef, as in 2 weeks, from North Tahoe School and North Tahoe High School. Thank you. And we have several other members who couldn't be here today. We have Ana Relas and Juana Torres at Kings Beach. They're amazing chefs there. Anna is retiring this year. We also have at Tahoe Lake Elementary, working with Chef Tinka, Chef Kelly Frankenberg. Moving on to Glenshire Elementary, we have Lori Stefanelli and Lisa Weiss. In addition, at Alder Creek Middle School, we have Danny Saraceno, who has been in our department 30 years, and we're very fortunate to have her. We additionally have Julia Nunez, who couldn't be here today, and we have Miss Chef Brooke Harper at Alder Creek. I'm a little nervous, so I'm trying to go down the names. And then at Truckee Elementary, we have Olga Lopez and Susan Crowthers, Aurora Colmenares, and Yedid Manacera. And at Truckee High School, another retiree this year after 15 years with us, is Sue Sakeli and Helen Hensley. In addition, Sandra Diaz at Truckee High School. And last but not least, she didn't want to be recognized, but I'm going to do it anyways, is our newest operations manager, Romy Branger. Romy took on the manager position this year, but she was also our Excellence in Ed Star awardee last summer. So thank you, board members, for recognizing this important day for us. It started in 2013, and we're really, really happy that the district supports us so famously. Thank you.
Thanks, Kat.
Thank you. Sorry. We're women of many bags.
That is awesome. I do think that we serve more food, and our food people serve so many meals. Thank you guys, or ladies and gentlemen, so much. Thank you. Okay, so we already proved that. So back to you, Superintendent, Chief Learning Officer Kramer.
I'm happy to turn it over to our Human Resources Director, Joan Zappatinini, for the next resolution.
So we've already been celebrating with this one. This was to come to the board in May 3rd, but it's really a pleasure and really an honor to be able to bring the National Teacher Appreciation Week and Teacher of the Day. The National Teacher Appreciation Day was on May 2nd, with Teacher Appreciation Week being May 8th through 12th, and the California Day of the Teacher was on May 10th. California Day of the Teacher arose out of legislation co-sponsored by the California Teachers Association and the Association of Mexican American Educators. Senator Joseph Montoya wrote the bill, and it was adopted in 1982. California has patterned its celebration after the traditional El Dia de Maestro festivities observed in Mexico and other Latin American countries. So we're asking you to approve the resolution for appreciation of our teachers.
Perfect. Okay, so with that, thank you very much. Is there any comments or questions from the board? Public have any comment on a resolution? Bringing it back for a vote or approval. Anyone care to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the resolution of National Teacher Appreciation Week and California Day of the Teacher.
Appropriately done. Would anyone care to second that?
I'll second.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Superintendent, Chief Learning Officer Kramer.
I am going to ask incoming Assistant Superintendent Logan Maloney to talk about the next resolution.
Thank you. Whatever title you want to use, Kramer. Thank you very much. It's going to get confusing here.
Lord have mercy.
This resolution is also coming from originally the May 3rd board meeting, which is recognition of National School Nurse Day on May 10th. School nurses have served a critical role in improving public health and ensuring students' academic success for more than 100 years. They act as a liaison to the school community, parents, and healthcare providers on behalf of children's health by promoting wellness and improving health outcomes for our nation's children. Students are the future, and by investing in them today, we are ensuring our world for tomorrow. School nurses support the health and educational success of children and youth by providing access to care when children's cognitive development is at its peak. School nurses are members of school-based teams and understand the link between health and learning and are in the position to make a positive difference for children every day. TTUSD joins the National Education Association in conjunction with the National Association of School Nurses in celebrating and acknowledging the accomplishments of our school nurses and their efforts of meeting the needs of today's students by improving the delivery of health care in our schools, and offers gratitude for them and their contribution to our local community by helping our students stay healthy in school and ready to learn, and keeping parents and guardians at work, not just on National School Nurse Day, but at every opportunity throughout the year. It is staff's recommendation that the Board of Trustees adopt Resolution 27, 2022-2023, Wednesday, May 10th, as National School Nurse Day. Thank you.
Marvelous, thank you. I'm going to just go with Logan. Thank you, Logan. Any board comments or questions? My comment will be that it's definitely, they did a lot the last couple of years. So it's awesome. And I do think we have a couple new nurses that we've got. We've got some new ones hired. So definitely a big shout out. But yeah, definitely, yeah, nurses are important at this point of the game. So with that, public comment on this item. Bring it back for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 27, 2022-23 in recognition of National School Nurse Day.
Perfect. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, I was going in order. Marvelous. Kirsten, incoming.
Yes, and I'm going to turn it back over to Joan Zapatini.
So again, I'm honored to be able to talk about our classified school employees here. They're the backbone of everything we do, and they set the stage every single day for us to be able to do the good work that we do for kids. They have a direct effect on student learning in this district, and you just saw even one with our food services department. It's just one of the many, many examples of them. So I'm super honored and super excited to ask for the board to approve a resolution to recognize Classified School Employees Week, which is next week, so we're ahead of the game here, May 21st through May 27th.
Marvelous. Thank you for that. Any board comments or questions on this resolution? Public comment. I will also think that what you said, Joan Zapatini, is that it is definitely, it's an honor to honor them. So with that, would someone like to make a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution number 28, 2022-23 in recognition of Classified School Employee Week for our excellent staff.
Next.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. And I think that was awesome, Joan. You did say that we were a week ahead, which is stunning. Like, I like being ahead of the game. Incoming Superintendent, Chief Learning Officer.
I'm going to ask Assistant Superintendent, Chief Business Officer Todd Rivera to speak to this resolution, please.
Thank you. And if you don't mind, I will talk about 10.6 and 10.7. They're both related to our Measure A parcel tax. And these are resolutions that the County of Placer and County Nevada require on an annual basis. The first resolution, number 29, is with Placer County, and it essentially just gives them the authorization from the board to put the Measure A parcel tax on the tax rolls and collect that on our behalf. The next resolution, very similar but a little bit different twist, gives the authority of the superintendent, chief learning officer, to enter into contract with Nevada County in order to collect the parcel tax on our behalf.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera, for those explanations. Any comments from anyone on the board?
Just thank you to our community for supporting our schools through Measure AA. Greatly appreciated.
So any public comment? I would also say that Measure AA has been a huge part of our whole schools, everything, for so long, and I think that resonates in our survey as well that we had for our strategic plan, that our community is a very valuable part of our schools. And I think we've touched on it in a number of ways, but obviously a recognition of Measure A every time is so well needed. And bring it back to the board for a motion.
I'll move to approve the resolution requesting collection of Measure A charges on Placer County tax rolls.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. And moving on to 10.7, were there any questions on that one? Public comment on 10.7? Bring it back for a vote?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution number 30, 2022-23 for authorization of the Superintendent Chief Learning Officer to execute the tax collection contracts on behalf of the district.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much for those resolutions. Moving on to 11.0 donation, incoming Superintendent Kramer.
This is just an example of how generous our community is, as you were just saying, Trustee Drillers. So during the process of Excellence in Ed has a grant cycle, and Truckee High School's Site Council was reviewing the grants. One of the Site Council members, when they were talking about how to fund these, and they said, you know what, I want to help. And so they stepped in and they said, I would like to fund this grant. So that's how that came about. So staff's recommending that we accept this donation.
Thank you for the community reminder. And any questions on this from the board? Comments? Public comment on this donation? I will also say that thank you very much for reaching out and individually donating. That's obviously wonderful. And with that, anyone interested in making a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the donation from Bill and Catherine regarding the reading resource at Truckee High.
And a second?
I'll second, but just to clarify, it's from Bill for Catherine.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, that's okay. So I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you for that. And moving on to 12.0 grants, and I'll bring it back to you.
And so this is the Truckee Elementary Schools Parent-Teacher Association organization. They have a grant cycle as well, and they had an application for providing busing transportation for a field trip to UNR to the planetarium. And so staff is recommending that we accept this grant donation.
Any questions from the board? The only question that I had was, I just was interested why it was a grant as opposed to just a donation, and then it was clarified that that is their cycle as well. Public comment on that grant? Seeing none, bring it back for a motion.
I'll move to accept the grant from the Truckee Elementary PTO for busing.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you for that. At this point, I'm going to move 16.0 in front of the consent agenda. So Superintendent incoming, Kramer.
Yes, and I'm going to ask Joan Sabatini to just briefly give us an update on this.
Okay, so 16.1 is the annual declaration of need that we bring at this time every year. It's for the following school year. Those of us in the HR world kindly call it the dawn. And what it is we have to declare ahead of time some of the ways that we may need to use special permits for credentialing. So we're required to have every teacher credentialed within whatever they're teaching. We do due diligence to recruit, bring them in, do all stuff, but there are times when we need to put people on special permits to bridge a year or 2 years for them to get their credential. We need to declare to the county specifically in what areas. So this is strategically where we have seen it before. We don't use all of them, not even near them, but this prepares us to be able to do that for the following year.
I'll second.
Great. All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you for that. And I'm going to just go right back to you, Kristen.
And we're going to turn it right back to Joan.
So 16.2 is just title revisions to two of our salary schedules, and one is the certificated management and the executive management schedule.
And I didn't see any questions on the homework. I didn't see any questions on the homework for that. Does anyone else have any updates or questions on that salary schedule? And public comment on salary schedule update. Bring it back to a motion, please.
Sorry, I'll move to approve the proposed revisions to the certificated management salary schedule and the executive management salary schedule.
Thank you. Second on that?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And just as a quick note, just for public knowledge, that most of these, it may sound like we're whipping through everything, but as you know, we do our homework and we have everything sent to us prior to the meetings, and then we do ask questions so that we have that covered before we get to the meeting. And most of our questions are answered, and if not, we have an opportunity to do it here. But for the most part, everything has been discussed or at least clarified, just so that we know that. Moving it now, I'll go back to the consent agenda, 13.0, and I'll send it over to you. Moving, yes, Kristen.
Yes,
Kirsten.
and Joan Zapatini for the consent agenda. I believe we have one change to the personnel action report, and I believe you've received that document. Joan, anything else we need for that? Okay.
No, you
Nope.
don't. It's all as is
Okay.
on the revised.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, so what that means is we have an adjustment to the May 17 personnel report, which was clarified, so that's perfect. At this point, is there any other questions on the consent agenda from the board? Public comment. With that, we will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the update. I would like to do that, but I'll let you guys do that.
I'll move to approve the revised consent agenda.
I'll
And
second.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. And with that, I'm going to spin it back over.
Yes, and at this time, we have two important introductions to do. First, I'm very pleased to present to all of you Mr. Mike Shepard, who is our new Executive Director of Human Resources starting in July. So welcome, Mike. And Lupita, if you wouldn't mind, Mike has a few words that he will share with us.
Thank you, incoming Superintendent Kramer and members of the board. I'm very humbled and honored to be accepting this position, and I appreciate the trust you're placing in me. And I'm looking very forward to joining the team in July. And I'd like to also thank my wife, Elizabeth, for her efforts to get me here while I'm healing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike, and welcome. And then there's another important announcement. There were interviews last week, and we finalized on Monday, and we have determined the next principal of Truckee High School. And I'm very pleased to announce that Mr. John Newberger will be the next principal of Truckee High.
So I brought my little notebook that I've been carrying around all the time now. I'm writing everything down. Just wanted to say that I'm so honored to have been selected as the next principal for Truckee High School. I look forward to continuing the great work being done there. Thank you to the Board of Education, to Superintendent Geisels, incoming Superintendent Kramer, for this opportunity. Logan, big thank you to you for your support, mentorship, and candid conversations always. Just wanted to say that I will continue to lead with an equity lens, with staff and student voice as my guide. I will continue to support students through a relationships first approach, and I look forward to your feedback as I learn and grow, and communication as I learn and grow as a principal. So thank you so much.
I do want to just quickly say, this is the most smiles we've seen, Carmen Geisels. This is awesome. I'm glad you're chuckling back there. I hope you're okay. It's awesome. Welcome, gentlemen. We're really, really excited. I know it was it was a lot of interview processes are always tough, but you came through shining colors. But we really look forward to having you around, and I think it's going to be a busy July 1. I laugh because I told the guys this earlier that I thought when Carmen said, yeah, end of the year, I'm thinking December 31st. I'm like, what's this July 1 thing? But really excited to have you guys here. And John, just Logan's right there if you need anything. It's awesome. So much fun. No, really
You're
fun.
going to need a bat phone in your office.
Yeah. And if you ever wanted us to cut it off, just tell them, like no. I'm really, really excited. That was a great consent agenda item. We're really happy. That's probably the most exciting consent agenda we've had in a long time. We look forward to your surgery recovery. That's like the most amazing thing I think I've ever seen. I know, Carmen, can you see it? I don't know how to get a camera on that. Okay, moving on quickly, because this is a long meeting. No consent, okay, we're moving to educational services 15.1.
Board of Trustees, I'm very excited to bring to you the Local Control Accountability Plan survey results. Thank you, Lupita. So I just want to make sure that the public knows that we really appreciate them participating in these surveys, and that we do review this, and it makes a big difference as we create these plans.
Thank you.
So this particular survey was administered back in January during the storms, and we asked Hanover Research to do this for us, and our audience was all of our TTUSD families, all of our staff, and middle and high school students. And we received positive feedback, particularly from staff, that they appreciated that it was an outside organization with such a good reputation conducting the survey, and that makes everything anonymous. So that really made people comfortable with responding from the heart. And what I'm just going to present to you tonight is a brief overview and some celebrations and key recommendations. We had 972 people participate, and that may not seem like a huge number, but Hanover was actually really pleased with that for the time of year. Staff is already talking about at the school sites how they're going to promote the survey more next year. But it's exciting to see the student participation. 45% of that number is our students, almost 20% was staff, and then 36% were parent and guardians. Oh. We're having a technical difficulty. Thank you. Oh, am I hitting the wrong button? I think that was me, sorry about that. That's what's happening, okay. I have to be careful. So, great news overall. Students, parents, and staff overall very satisfied with the quality of education they're receiving. So that was exciting to see and something for us to celebrate. Other highlights here, 100% of the staff agree that teachers are talking with students at school. And we were just talking about that. Trustee Mooney was talking about how much effort has been put into our mental health services. Our teachers have received a lot of training, and it's being seen now that we're more comfortable talking with students about their social emotional health and well-being. 68% of students agree that teachers are encouraging students on a regular basis. And the one I'm so happy about, 92% of our staff agree that they enjoy the work they do. We just have such a dynamite team here in TTUSD, and we so appreciate them. And then our parents, 94% say they're able to communicate with teachers and staff as needed, which are great celebrations. Then Hanover works hard to take all of this information and brings it together, analyzes it, and gives us key findings. And we talked about this last night. We had a parent advisory committee for the LCAP process and went through the survey really closely and discussed each of these. And I think our strategic plan, we heard this as well, that our parents and staff and students, they really want to have a voice. They want to be a part of our district in the decision making. So that was a key finding. And then our staff they want to keep learning and growing, and they're really looking for high-quality professional development opportunities provided by the district. And then we talked a lot at the meeting last night just about the climate for students and this perception of the bullying. Parents and staff saw things more positively at the school site than students did. So this is definitely something our school administrators have this data. They've been digging into it for a couple months. The school safety and climate is our #1 top priority, and so this is something that we're definitely looking into and had rich conversations with about last night. So what happens next? We had the LCAP advisory meeting last night and reviewed these. School administrators are looking at the feedback specific to their school, and a few of them are also going to do additional surveys at the end of the year to just target certain areas that apply to their school site. And then we use this as we are planning next year's local control accountability plan, which you will see on the June 7th board meeting. And I know that was a quick overview, so any questions or comments?
Thank you very much for that. That's an awesome, positive. Board comments,
Board question?
board questions. Let's do that.
I was wondering if there's so many surveys and frameworks and roadmaps going around. Sometimes it's hard to keep them all straight. And I was wondering if somebody could, just for the sake of all of us that are watching perhaps and maybe sitting up here, the difference between the LCAP and the strategic plan.
I would love to talk about that. So if you think of it as like nesting bowls, if you like to think about bowls when they nest in each other, the strategic plan framework is the very large bowl that holds all of us together. It's the framework of all of our work. The local control accountability plan is the next layer. That's the district plan of how we're going to take those focus areas and put them into action. And then another layer that's not there are the school accountability plans. And that's the actions specifically at the school site. And then if you want to get smaller, then each grade level department makes their goals and plans and participates in the plan, do, study, acts. And then in the middle, of course, is the student. So all of this is focused around the student. So the survey results was from that second layer in the district level plan. And then the bottom layer, the framework, kind of captures everything.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That was a great question. Thank you.
Good question. Were you a teacher? Anyone else? Any public comment on that? Thank you for explaining that. And it is always helpful. I think that, Pat, one of the things that I think is important to remember is that saying these things again, like a lot of times we just kind of roll through them. So having it said again, because there are new parents and there are people now that are listening that may not have listened. And I think we do have people that are now listening, so I think it's good to clarify. I think that was some of the things that happened where we didn't get information out that people understood. And they're like, somebody I talked to today didn't know that we had to do 180 days. So I was like, wow, that's good. But anyway, that was awesome. Thank you. So no questions from the board and no public comment. That is an info only, so we'll move on to the number 15.2. And that will be back to you, Kirsten Kramer.
Yes, and this is going to be a team helping me. So I'll start the presentation off, but then we have Tara House here who will also be presenting, and Logan Maloney will be helping as well. And this is an info item, and the purpose of this presentation is just to share with you some of the work that we've been doing this school year. And we're just waiting a second while we get the slideshow up. So the school district leaders, the school administrators have participated in a continuous improvement this year focused on our English learners. And this came about back in 2019. Our district was designated as eligible to receive differentiated assistance. And that just means with some of our subgroups, we weren't making as much progress as the state would like to see and as much as we would like to see. And this is just showing you how we qualified for this differentiated assistance back in 2019. You can see our English learners highlighted there. Red is not good, blue is awesome. So we had 2 red areas in grad rate and college and career. And so that's a flag that our English learners' needs are not being met with what we were currently doing. And what's interesting about this is this was back in 2019, and then as you know, we had the pandemic, school shutdowns, and so on. So that designation just carried over for a couple of years. So when we started this school year, we received additional support from Placer County Office of Education, PCOE, as a result. They met with Superintendent Geisels and myself to review this and say, what's our plan? And so we looked at our current data, comparing a 2021 school year to the 21-22, and you can see there was a little progress for our English learners, but it's not as much as we had hoped to see. So we asked that we continue to participate with a focus on our English learners and enter into this improvement work. And these were our leaders, Catherine and Leslie, from Placer County Office of Education. And It was our district staff, our teachers on special assignment, our coordinators, Anna Marie Cohen, Dr. Cohen, myself, the principals, and our ELD teachers. We were all part of this process, and we met monthly, and they led us through a great just whole series of activities where we really dug into the data. We looked at our current master plan to see what parts were we putting in place and what had we not yet put in place. We developed a common understanding and common vocabulary amongst all of us to make sure we understood what was in our plan. And then we did a really cool activity. If you've heard of street data at all, we did kind of a level up where you follow a student. We looked at their transcripts from the earliest point they entered TTUSD until high school and looked at what the teacher comments were, grades, transcripts, what kind of courses they were choosing. So that was a very valuable activity. And then came the hard work of, now that we have all this information, what do we want to do to try to move forward? I show you this slide not so that you try to read everything on there, but just to show you the level of thought and work that this team put into this. This is something that's part of the improvement science process, and it just shows how complex teaching is and how complex an educational system is to get these outcomes we want. So the team we're focusing on this achievement gap for English learners. And if you just focus on the bottom there, the theory of action, we decided that what we wanted to do is really look at what we call our Tier 1 instruction, which is the instruction for all of our students, and seeing what we can do in the classroom to make sure our English learners' needs are being met. And I just to have candor, this is good news, but sad news. We're no longer qualified for differentiated assistance, which is great. But at the same time, we're sad not to have Catherine and Leslie working with us as much. But so it's good news. We still had one area where there was a concern. The pupil engagement priority 5 was an area, but we didn't have the 2 areas. So good news is we're out of it, but we still have a lot of work to do. So we're excited to continue the work. So at this point, Tara House is going to give us the important details.
Oh, there I'm on. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Sorry, I'm a little hoarse. It's, first grade. Anyway, well, the side benefit to all of this happening now is there's this great restructuring with awesome leadership coming in. As you know, Sarah coming into EL World. And it's a really awesome opportunity to pick up the work that we left right before the pandemic. So as you probably know, we started with that Cali group back in 2015, with our high schools. And the whole point of that education for us was to get us together in agreement on what to do in that first year instruction in the classroom. And we really came around to academic discourse and this idea of leveraging student-to-student conversations around academic topics to encourage them to use as much language as possible, learn, and this not only helps our ELs, but all students, right? So it's a great thing. We got a lot of momentum with the middle and high schools when we did it back in 15 through 18, and then the cool thing was Cali kept extending, so they worked with the elementaries 18 through 2020. And then, what happened. There's not a lot of conversations over Zoom that are successful and great. So we decided to recommit to our Cali work. We had already done so much work and coming to agreement with all the principals on what we should do district-wide, so it was super easy to convince the principals to just pick up where we left off. And so we can go to the next one, where we really decided to pick some strategies for strengthening that Tier 1. Our main strategy that came out of that Cali work was the academic discourse piece. And so to us, that really is including a ton of student-to-student interaction. We know academic discourse can mean a lot of things, but we've just spent this week with our differentiated assistance people digging in and defining what is that, what do we want it to look like, and how are we going to do it? And then I'll pass it to Logan to finish up the rest of the strategies.
So up at the top with the certainty, while we're not in differentiated assistance moving forward, this improvement work will continue next school year. We, as instructional leaders and ELD coordinators and district staff, really did decide this together, to commit to this together and move forward, like with the one first action step, which really can align to the LCAP that we just saw and the strategic plan framework. We are working on a slideshow, actually just perfecting it at this point, that all sites will show at the beginning in the fall. So again, principals have this idea before summer even begins on where they can plan. And then we, of course, at End Services and the site EL coordinators will provide that ongoing support to all teachers to provide the Tier 1 instruction. And we are working on a calibrated monitoring tool. So we are working simultaneously with teachers and district and instructional leaders to say, what does the structure opportunities for academic discourse look like for students and for teachers? And again, giving that support and that spiraling of instruction and check-ins so that teachers feel supported to continue the work. And last but not least is analyzing the impact, right? So we will use improvement science, the plan, do, study, act cycles to impact analyze the changes that are working and perhaps the strategies that aren't or that we want to make small iterations to. Next slide. So with that, any questions or comments from the board?
Thank you. Team?
Is making academic discourse a district non-negotiable new this year? Is that?
District-wide, it would be, yes. Some sites, as you know, chose that for many years because of the Cali work, but we're trying to truly align with all instructional leaders.
I think it's a great idea. I think that we all know that kids like to talk. And they also appreciate having multiple ways to show teachers what they've learned and what they know. And so you combine that with talking in an organized academic discourse activity, and truly miracles happen. I've seen it. Yeah.
Awesome. Chris? Nope. Public comment on this. I will say, Tara, that I'm always impressed with all these numbers that you throw out, and I did get a huge shout out from a student of yours today and their parent, and they were very excited that you're back in the classroom. So as much as we love all your work, I know that you're where your heart is, but your just your collective knowledge and how you put it all together, we can understand it, or at least I can, somewhat. But hats off to what you've done, because you've done a lot, and it's really, really cool to hear us go back to what you started before as a team, and then we're still doing it. So I think that says merits to what you've done in that other chapter of your exploration of opportunities, and now you're back. Too fun. Anyway, with that is also, I do believe, an info item. Okay, thank you so much for that. We have a curricular and instruction. I'm going to send it back to you.
Yes, and I'm going to ask Logan Maloney to speak to this one, please.
Thank you. So I am so excited to bring you a first read of a proposed new high school course for your consideration. And I'm also going to share a first read for an adoption of middle school full option science system called FOSS instructional materials. As always, our expert teachers have really taken the time and energy to create courses and pilot material to ensure that the curriculum will truly ignite their passion to want to teach it, as well as engage and empower students to achieve their potential. So the first is a new high school course, Visual and Performing Arts Music. North Tahoe High School staff are proposing this course to provide students the opportunity to develop various technological skills associated with careers in the music industry. Students will progress through units centered on an introduction to music production hardware editing, mixing, and the overall business of music technology. Students will build sound engineering knowledge for a solid foundation in their audio career. This course meets the Fine Arts TTUSD graduation requirement and the A through G Visual and Performing Arts requirement. This could qualify as a CTE course in the future with a properly CTE credentialed teacher. Again, this is just the first read of this proposal, so this course will be brought forward at the next board meeting for final consideration.
Love the new ideas. Now, just quickly, did you ask the one gentleman that was speaking to come on today's meeting for any particular reason? That was perfect. Any board comments on this? Public comment? I will say that I do think it's been fun and seeing the number of new outlets of education. I would say that just because of having arts back in our schools and a little bit more meaningful, like there's a lot of productions, and I know Chris has been keeping us up to date on which ones have tickets that we can go to, but kind of cool. So I'm glad, and I think that's part of student voice, if you think about it. Okay, info only, thank you very much for that. Look forward to hearing from that. And then moving on to 15.4.
Yes, so this is equally exciting because the middle school's last adopted science curriculum has a copyright date of 2009. This older curriculum was developed before the transition to the next generation science standards, which we call NGSS, which was adopted in California in 2013. The middle school science department has piloted 4 curricula since the 2019-2020 school year. When looking at curricula, rigor, standards alignment, student access, and engagement were required filters used. A thorough process was implemented to ensure that the chosen curriculum fit the needs of the students and the teachers. All middle school teachers participated in the pilot process. And having been in recent many meetings about the math adoption coming up and the elementary science of reading materials coming up, our teachers really do not take this process lightly and have consistently had students as the focus when reviewing these materials. Again, this is just a first read of the middle school science instructional materials proposal. These materials will be brought forward at the June 21st meeting for final consideration.
Thank you very much for that, Logan. And board comments or questions? I'm very excited to keep our science program going. That's awesome. And that was an info only as well. Moving to business 17.0, facilities. Send it to you, and then you can pass it on, Superintendent.
It will go to our Chief Business Officer, Assistant Superintendent Todd Rivera.
Thank you. So this is requesting approval of a contract with Premier Management Group. They provide project management services for some of our projects. They've been with us in the past for Truckee Elementary and a couple other school sites on assisting us during our reconstruction efforts during our bond program. This in particular, this contract will contract with them to provide project management services specifically for the transportation vehicle charging stations that we'll be installing over the summer here, getting ready for our electric buses, and then also the modernization project that's occurring at North Tahoe Middle and High School this summer and the following summer as well. And just a little bit more background, our current Director of Facilities Maintenance and Operations, Rob Coster, was formerly a project manager in the Facilities Department. He was working on these projects. When he assumed the role of director, we never backfilled his position, and so he's been doing a lot of this on his own right now, so this is just providing him finally with the support he needs.
So thank you very much for that. Board comments or questions? Public comment. I will say though, yeah, lots of exciting things happening with our, lots of exciting things. Believe it that. That is an action item, so would anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve agreement number 230013.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you so much. Okay, back to B, continuing on with, I would imagine Todd as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. So as most of you know, there is a requirement with the state of California for school districts to have 180 instructional days accounted for throughout the school year. However, they do provide some flexibility if there's emergency closures in school districts to apply for a waiver. It's called the J13 waiver. This is done on an annual basis for those districts that do experience some form of emergency closure. Up here in TTUSD, we experience a lot more emergency closures on a regular basis than most school districts, although that seems to be changing a little bit in California with wildfires and everything else and flooding. However, for us, it's not terribly uncommon. We don't submit a waiver every year, but I would say in the last 5 years or so, we've submitted a few. The difference this year is the number of waive days that we're asking for the state. We've actually broken a district record this year, unfortunately. But if you recall, we had 2 days that we had closed at the very beginning of the school year due to smoke for all of our school sites. In addition, all the schools in our district experienced at least 12 snow days for closures, and then Donner Trail up at the summit actually had an additional 4 days on top of that, and then Truckee Elementary and Truckee High School experienced 2 days of closures because of the snow load issues that we had where we had to remove snow in order to bring it back below our threshold. So with that, this J13 waiver is requesting, and remember, we build 5 days into our calendar, so we are requesting from the state a waiver on, let me make sure I got this right, a total of 9 days for hazardous smoke and snow days for all of our sites, and then an additional 4 days for Donner Trail Elementary and 2 additional for Truckee L and Truckee High, as I mentioned, for the snow load closures.
Definitely a record. Definitely a change. Board comments on this item. Thank you for all that, Todd. I think it is important to understand that we have had these waivers before. It is part of what we do, and then I think that's the discussion as to how many do we want in there, and I think that this is definitely an anomaly, but I think that's going to be discussed in our calendar comments. I think that will come up again as well. But thank you for the clarification on that J13A. This is an info action, so would anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the California Department of Education Form J13A, request for allowance of attendance because of emergency conditions.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, thank you for that. Bringing us to 18.0. Is Nick still there? Yes, okay. CSEA. No one is here for CSEA. So we will do a tag team, TTEA. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I guess in keeping with the incoming-outgoing theme of tonight, my name is Nick Fertitta. I'm acting president and soon to be returning to vice president. Our report's going to be pretty short tonight. This is not a farewell address of any kind by any stretch of the imagination. First, to Carmen, she's behind me, I guess, and in front of me. Get well. Hope to have you back soon here. On behalf of TTA, I'd like to welcome Mike to the district. Mike or Michael? I don't want to start us off on the back. Oh, okay. We were thankful as TTA to be part of the hiring process, and we're very thankful to the district for including us with that. We look forward to continuing to work collaboratively in order to best serve our students as we move forward. A couple of quick kind of congratulations here, I guess, in my first part. Congratulations to John, although he snuck out. It must have been my letter of recommendation that put him over the top, though, so I'm going to hold on to that one. Also, congratulations to our 6th board member who I saw running around back here somewhere. Okay, Joaquin, good to have you. And My second thing for tonight, first I'd like to, or first part of my second thing, my old English teacher over there, is I wanted to say a thank you to Mr. Moody. He attended our last site rep meeting, kind of during our open forum thing, and just kind of participated and listened and was able to answer questions. And that'll be something obviously we extend to all board members. Our next one is a little bit more closed off because it's a little bit more of an end of the year celebration, but definitely look forward to that being kind of a routine going forward as we kind of, build that relationship back. With that, we look forward to the Labor Management Institute that's coming up at the end of next month, and go into that and kind of, listen. And I've never been part of it, so I've heard good things. Looking forward to being part of that with everybody who's going. And obviously, we're not always going to see eye to eye on things. That's no surprise. But if I think both sides can learn to disagree in a way that's not perceived as personal or with any kind of malintent, I think that being able to agree to disagree and kind of move forward professionally, I think if we come out of that with better tools for that, I think that's obviously worthwhile. And finally tonight, and probably the most important for me personally, is I would like to introduce TTA's newly elected president. She has been working with TTA for many years in many different capacities, and this is kind of my official handoff. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Erin Lefevers.
Hello, I'm Erin Lefevers. Like Nick said, I am the new president of TTEA. A little bit of background, I teach English at Nortal High School, where I am the WASC coordinator, department chair, drama advisor. When we had a newspaper advisor, so volleyball coach. I am currently, tomorrow, I will be driving the track team for North Tahoe down to, part of the North Tahoe track team down to Vegas. I have been part of this district. I added it up last night as I was sitting back there. 44 years. Starting here as a fourth grader when my parents moved up from the Bay Area, through my student teaching up here. Between my husband and I, we had 4 kids go through the school systems. 2 through the Truckee side, 2 through the North Tahoe side. We got it all covered. And currently, we have a granddaughter at Tahoe Lake. So we have roots, we have been here, and I'm looking forward to kind of going with the theme of change and leadership and fresh starts. So you'll be seeing more of me. Thank you.
Just kind of was thinking that might be why you were sitting there. Just throwing that out. Awesome. Yay. Nick, thank you for acknowledging Pat's visit to your meeting. I think that I had talked to both of them. I was gone because I was going to try to do the other one as well, but I think that's something we've done in the past, and I just, I think things stopped, and it's fun to kind of rekindle things that we had forgotten. Like, it took us a while to get student voice back here, or showcases. So, yeah, that's good. We'll get there. That brings us to, this was probably the longest meeting we've had in a very long time. However, I will make a note that we had to catch up. So this basically is 2 meetings, which is why I was like, why are we so long? So I appreciate everyone. Kirsten and I did talk about getting rid of stuff, but I think we have so much going on, and at the end of the year, I think as much as it is long, I appreciate everyone digging deep. Any comments, Pat? I'm sad to say that you're not skiing. It bums me out.
Yeah, no, the season's over. It's well, it is for us anyway. No, I just want to mention that first week of June, I've been invited by the College Board to read AP Lit essays, so I'll be gone all that week reading essays.
Take a picture. No, of you doing it, so we can put that in our, give it to Aunt. Yeah.
This will be the picture.
Wow.
I would just like to say this is not a long meeting. So the longest meeting that I've had in the last 2 weeks went till 11:40.
We're so over that.
And that was for a project that I've been working on for more than 5 years. Maybe you've heard of it, the Truckee 2040 General Plan, which got adopted by our council. So I will have more mental capacity to participate in things not related to the general plan now. So yay for our town council for doing that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a good move on our part. But and then I made it to the Alder Creek Middle School back to school night. So I did get one little event in there, school related. But I'm looking forward to all the graduations. I did mention I went to the Donner Trail ski the skiathon, Nordic Challenge. Thank you. Sorry.
Let's see, so I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, I attended, right, yesterday? The teachers, Monday. Teachers That Make a Difference dinner down in Roseville. And I was just super proud to be surrounded by so many educators and their support colleagues at the event. It was hotter than hot for me, but it was super fun to see them acknowledged. And I am also very excited for the rest of the board to really start dissecting this strategic plan. Very excited to just get it passed and just refocus. And I guess the last thing I would say is just really thankful that our board does their homework. And I love seeing the questions that, come through and how staff is very just diligent at answering them, and it just saves time because otherwise we probably would be meeting till 10 or 11. So I'm just really thankful for everyone's work. And that's all I have. Thank you.
I do agree that tonight was a really big night, and thank you for everyone's understanding and patience for the debacle that we experienced 2 weeks ago trying to put this meeting together, and me being the last pin to fall, causing it to be completely canceled. But great job, Dee Dee. I want to just commend you on your absolutely fantastic job so far as the president of our school board. And Chris for filling in while you were traveling or gallivanting around the world and zooming in with us. That was a great, fun experiment, giving me great courage to know that I can go to Europe now. So I'm next. Thanks, Chris, too, for filling in. You did a fantastic job, not just filling in, but really taking the helm and really mastering the leadership skills needed to manage some very difficult topics during some very difficult meetings. So great job on both of your part, and our new board members also. I love how much you're participating and engaged. And you're so quick to just be completely on task, and it's just amazing. I was thinking it was going to be this 6 to 12 month journey, and here we are in May, and you guys are ready to go. Perfectly fine. Tonight was a big night. Congratulations to everyone for all these new positions. I swear I've never seen so many positions change in such a short period of time in this district. It's pretty phenomenal. And we have a lot of celebrations, I think. Everybody getting warmed up in their new positions and getting ready for the next school year. Carmen, it's so wonderful to see your beautiful face and to see that you're doing good, and we miss you so much. And we're so glad to hear that you're doing well each and every day in your healing process. And the final thing I wanted to say is I got a chance to go see Cinderella on Saturday afternoon all by myself. I took myself out on a date because I used to have someone come with me, but she went away to college. No comment on that. But anyway, the costumes were beautiful, the acting, the singing, the dancing. I mean, it just showcased so much talent. And to see the theater with its air conditioning, no one was dying in there. It was incredible, and to see the use of the new green room and just the pride and joy that every single member of the production and acting team had in putting that together, and Jenny Bousquet with all of those incredible costumes. It was so wonderful to see. I think this is the first time they've done a production since...
They did Clue.
Did they Clue last year? Okay. Yeah, I missed those, but pre-COVID, West Side Story and Grease, and it was just on fire, but then COVID happened, and everybody had to put that entire program on hold, so it was a huge celebration to everyone to see it back on track, and congratulations.
I missed it. Bummed because I would have liked it. First, I do have to thank you all for my sojourn. My traveling was awesome. I would love to move there. But I appreciate Chris wholeheartedly for apologizing, throwing under the bus right off from the start. But that's what you signed, that clerk thing. I did not tell you to. But also the rest of you guys, thank you for letting me do that. It was awesome. Now I have a doctor, so hopefully she'll support me. That's the plan. I definitely, it was tough, like, timing-wise was hard, so I appreciate everybody being flexible and letting me get to my meetings. I have done not much here. I got back yesterday from Vermont. So I have read and done stuff. But anyway, thank you for all that. And lots of exciting changes. Sad to see some people leaving us, which is hard. Like, we have people moving on. But I think we've got some great people in place. Like, I think it's kind of cool that we've already set up, like, so many things moving forward. The changes are definitely going to be changes, but I think we've got some things going in the right place. We've got some great things that have been left behind, so that I feel pretty happy about where we're going. With that, let's adjourn. Oh, it's before 8, yes.